we all reach a point where we have to consider very seriously, how am I going to live the rest of my life? Is it just going to be business as usual? Or am I going to stop for a moment and reconsider? Today we're going to talk about growing older. Have you noticed that this is quite a touchy topic? Yes, many of us don't like the idea of growing older, and actually there's an incredible amount of fear surrounding this. So let's start by taking a look at this and seeing it for what it is. What kind of fears come up for you when you think about growing older? Well, the usual ones are fear of dying, fear of getting ill, being a burden to your loved ones, losing your faculties, struggling to pay heating bills and to live, being lonely and losing your loved ones. Here's something I learned from a man called Jiddu Krishnamurti, a very wise man, who told us that actually, although we focus on the things that we feel afraid of, what we're really afraid of is fear. We don't know how to deal with that feeling of fear. Let's get to the root of the problem and look at fear itself. What is this thing that we call fear, and why does it freak us out? Well, fear is really nothing more than a thought about the future. It's a speculation, an imagination of something that may happen, and more often than not, it actually doesn't. But that's what it is. Let's put it in perspective, right? It's not reality. So when we get consumed by our fears, we're actually losing touch with reality and becoming trapped in the prison of our mind, imagining this scary scenario. It's quite incredible how powerful our thoughts can be and how they can just take over our life and prevent us from enjoying life. And that's what we're here to do. We want to live life fully. You know, when we get to the end of our days, we're only going to care about one thing, aren't we? Whether we have lived life fully, whether we've made the most of every year, every day, whether we've appreciated what we've been given and had precious moments with the people we loved. If you remember this next time you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't sleep because of all your worries going on in your mind, if you remember what these worries actually are, what these fears actually are, they are thoughts about a future which doesn't exist, and it's not present reality. This perspective should help you deal with them, because the wisdom within you will realize that there's no point in worrying about this stuff. What doesn't help is that everyone else in the world is also worrying about the same things and, you know, having this conversation, voicing these concerns about what might happen, about what's happened to so-and-so, and what if it happens to me. I make these videos to wake you up from that narrative, because we don't need to suffer through the rest of our lives. We really don't. We can enjoy this life that we've been given. We can make the most of it. The thing is, some of those scary things may happen. And if they do, the best way to prepare for them isn't by worrying, isn't by panicking, isn't by fretting, but rather it's by learning to live by the wisdom within you. You're going to want to be resilient. You're going to want to be able to adapt. You're going to want to have your inner being strong and able to see you through whatever's going on the outside. And this is really the secret to growing older in a good way. It's nurturing your inner being. It's getting to know that deeper part of yourself, that ageless, untiring, perfect, one with God, eternal, divine part of yourself, your spiritual part, your spirit. There is a depth within you, a divine, sacred silence and stillness. It draws you to itself more strongly the older you get. There's a beautiful verse in the Bible. It says, as the outer man is decaying, the inner man is being renewed day by day. This is what's happening. The seasons are always changing, always reminding us that everything we see and experience in this life of ours on earth is temporary. We're just here for a little while, wearing our human disguise. The healthiest thing to do is to embrace this transient nature of ours, because then you can come to appreciate every stage of your life, every year of your life, every day, in fact. If we can have the freedom to no longer be deceived by our mind, if we can have a mind that knows itself, as Byron Katie says, then we can focus on what's really important instead of spending our days in this world of psychological drama that is endless and so unhelpful and just not fun, right? It's not nice to live in that realm of worries all the time. We can become present and actually live our lives. I mean, really live. Wouldn't it be better to appreciate this day that we've been given and to notice the blessings and to live in a state of appreciation and wonder? As you grow older, you want to really start doing those things that you've always wanted to do. Yes, now's the time to do some inspired learning and really start to enjoy yourself. There's a time for being serious, and there's a time to just become like a child again and follow your heart. Find things that fill you with joy, with aliveness, and do those things. It's time to start believing that you can. And the way to do that is not to pay attention to the old thoughts that tell you you can't. Your energy is going to become infectious. You become this shining light, really. People are drawn to that because we need that. We need that from each other. We need to see the light within each other. And there's no better time than when you're growing older. As we get older, our priorities shift, and we can have this beautiful realization that we don't need to be so terribly busy, and we don't need to faff around wasting time doing all these things that we no longer want to do. That's right. However many years we have left of this precious life, we want to make the most of it. So take a good look at your calendar and your to-do list and start crossing things off. Trust the wisdom within you. Trust your intuition to guide you in your new priorities for the rest of your life. This is very important. We all reach a point where we have to consider very seriously, how am I going to live the rest of my life? Is it just going to be business as usual? Or am I going to stop for a moment and reconsider? Am I going to tune in to how I truly feel and see, am I being true to myself? Am I living a life that's in alignment with my heart and my soul? And if not, Well, start today. Start today. Change one little thing today. A very practical aspect of growing older is having the ability to simplify life and simplify your belongings and really consider how much stuff you actually need and what is it that you want to actually leave behind. So I'm in a process of getting rid of things that I really don't need, and I feel really that this is a lifelong process, because as we come closer to the end of our lives, we realize we hardly need anything really, right? We hardly need anything. All those things that we thought were so important, all those things the world tells you that you need and everybody runs around wanting, they really don't add anything to your life at all. You see this as you grow older, right? This is one of the gifts. You see with new eyes, right? The outside might be getting older, but the eyes are getting newer. You can see things more clearly, right? Spiritually speaking, there's something very sweet about growing older. Very sweet indeed. And I see it in nature, especially this time of year, when autumn is turning into winter. Everything's dying, but there's no panic. There's nothing to worry about, because it's all going to come back in the spring. It's going to be new leaves on the trees, isn't it? It's going to be new growth on the forest floor. The old makes way for the new. It's perfectly natural and beautiful. It really is. Start hugging more mindfully. You know, when you're giving someone a hug, be more present and linger a bit longer. Really feel the love and the connection and the oneness between you and that person. It can be a really special moment. Slow down and be more intentional as you make yourself that tea or whatever it is that you like to drink every day, and really start to savor it and look forward to it and take your time with it, rather than it simply being something that you do unconsciously while you're doing something else. Now, I've created something called the Today List, which is most definitely not a to-do list, and it basically shows you what I do to live a today-focused life and to really make the most of every day, and to live in a very holistic way that allows me to be balanced in all areas of my life, so that I can make the most of the rest of my life. So I recommend you go to my website and get your Today List. It's completely free. You don't have to sign up for it. And just take a look and see if any of those things on there resonate with you. And start doing them. Start doing them, but follow your inner leading as to how to start doing them, because it's not a to-do list. For me personally, growing older has meant appreciating life so much more. Can't put it into words really, just how incredible it is to be alive and to experience all the things that we get to experience. Growing older is really a gift, isn't it? It's a gift. It really is a gift to be alive for a long time. And I'm very thankful for this gift. The other wonderful thing about growing older is that we have this huge store bank of memories. Wonderful memories that we can remember and indulge in whenever we want to, that bring a smile to our face. And maybe some that will make us feel sad too. Nobody said it was meant to be a walk in the park and you're supposed to be happy all the time and be worried if you're not. No, actually, this game of life, if you want to call it that, embraces all the experiences. There are the roses and there are the thorns. There's all the weather, and we're here to experience it all. And just walk through it, present, awake, and thankful. This awareness of the preciousness of it all. I think as you get older as well, you learn how to be more present, because you don't want to miss life, you know? You don't want to keep missing it. There's this deep spiritual presence inside that's been carrying you through right from the beginning. I think it's called grace. Yes, I've definitely experienced more grace as I've grown older. And I believe there's a lot more grace to be experienced in the coming years.